Hello and welcome back to Ask Well, the podcast that dives into the stories people truly care about. Today's headline comes straight from the New York Times. Should I use vaginal estrogen for menopause symptoms? It's a question that many listeners might have heard about _med but not really heard answered. Let's walk through what the article says and why it matters. First, the crux of the question: a woman asks, "I've heard that vaginal estrogen can help with menopause symptoms. Should I use it?" The answer starts with a simple yes, but with important conditions that follow. The Times article explains that vaginal estrogen products, which come in a few different forms such as creams, tablets, and rings, are specifically designed to treat several common discomforts that tend to appear when a woman moves into postmenopause. These symptoms include vaginal dryness, painful intercourse, and even recurrent urinary tract infections. What's key, the article points out, is that these problems can begin long before the final menstrual period, sometimes in the years leading up to it. So instead of waiting until menopause is fully over, the product can be introduced earlier to give relief during what many call the perimenopausal years. The Times stresses that the estrogen in these products is lower in dose than what you'd find in oral birth control pills. That lower dose is intended to localize the benefit to the vaginal area, reducing the systemic effects most people worry about. Now, let's keep in mind that the Times does not paint a complete picture of everything every active duty or insourced estrogen treatment offers. But the article does point to a few practical things to remember. First, you're dealing with a prescription area of health, so a visit with your primary care physician or gynecologist is a good first step. They'll help you decide which formulation, a cream or a tablet, might pair with your specifics, such as your age, overall health, and how aggressively you're feeling the symptoms. The Times also notes a little nuance: the type of estrogen, timing, and dosage all matter. Vaginal estrogen is designed for local use, which means it tends to stay in the vaginal tissues and isn't aiming to raise estrogen levels broadly in your body. That detail matters because many women worry about hormone therapy's effects on their overall risk profile. With vaginal estrogen, the article suggests, those systemic concerns are minimal compared to oral therapies. What does the article say about side effects? Not a lot. There are none that use Siri the piece lists as a major drag. The knowledge sets the tone for the kind of personalized conversation you'll need to have with your clinician. Because for some people, even a mild hormone patch or cream could trigger something, while for others, the relief of being able to sit a bit more comfortably, go about daily routine, ministries such as conflict treat, houses, *. It'll be critical to keep talking with your health professional about how your body reacts. The article reminds listeners that decisions about estrogen can't be made in a vacuum, but rather as part of a broader conversation new about lifestyle, diet, and mental well-being, multiple factors that interplay with hormone health. In sum, the Times article says yes, vaginal estrogen can be a helpful tool in managing postmenopause symptoms like dryness, pain, and urinary infections. It can start in the lead-up to menopause and it's intentionally lower in systemic effect. But it also tells us that talking to a doctor is essential to pick the right product, dosage, and timeline. That's how you can move forward with confidence. If you found this helpful, let us know. You Clark always want to hear from our listeners. Tune in next week for more practical health questions answered in plain language. Thank you for listening to Ask Well. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay well. And _short, think a little estrogen treatment for menopause symptoms could help you? A New York Times Q&A says vaginal estrogen can ease dryness, pain, and urinary infections that start even before menopause. Ready to explore a local, low-dose option? Check out the full story and learn more in the link below.